Thank you so much. I'm here. I'm going to share with all of you because you said it's really relevant. It is super relevant to understand how the psyche works. So I'm representing a team of 10 people that we are creating references for any union on earth to be inspired and avoid 40 or 50 years of research in quantum physics, in the unified field, in consciousness, in mindfulness, in auric proportions, and how we are immersed in a unified field of frequencies, how creation is just wavelengths happening. So to avoid all this research and development, we create examples for entire unions to improve evolution by seeing an example that they can say, hey, I can do this better, or I can do this in my local materials, and I can do this with own my own references, my own dogma, my own. But first of all, we need to share nowadays more than ever is peace culture. So for sharing peace culture, you need to understand how you lose peace, how you create your inner conflict by comparing ideas of what you know with what is happening in front of you. So nowadays, entrepreneurs and CEOs and representatives has to understand where humans project the ideas, as humans are the only animal on earth harming the planet. The rest of animals, they perceive frequencies, so they move through frequencies, they go with the morphic fields, they go flowing with what happens, and they know where the frequency increase. So they consume only what makes you bloom or thrive. Humans are really distracted and confused with constructs in front of them because we perceive through memory, through knowledge. That knowledge is in memory, so it's always past. So humans are the only animal using past to perceive present, that is continuous change. That's why we harm each other, that's why we lose peace, that's how we destroy nature. First thing that humans need to understand that there is an entire industry waiting to be developed that is about freeing humanity from the not identification of the gears of thinking that we map out and color coded. Because humans think out of the head. We project holograms, ideas based in our memory. But indigenous or people that are completely connected with nature, they perceive through the skin. That is the biggest organ in the body that allows you to perceive when the skin expands and contracts. So you can make lists and things of and choose by resonance, and approach food and choose by resonance, or go to your wardrobe and choose by resonance what your body is gonna what is gonna make thrive your body. We can understand that we are the result of 2,000 or 3,000 years of burning people that didn't understood, that didn't needed a translator or a representative between them and creation. That people that is being burned or blacklisted or whatever was took over by people that were completely insensible because they were completely trapped in the gears of thinking. So the violent ones, the ones that are losing their peace because the reality doesn't match with their ideas, those ones that doesn't feel within, they allow harm outside because they are not in peace. When you understand that we are all humans trapped in an application that is the application of thinking, that is not for perceiving, it's for downloading or attracting realities, or basically crystallizing ether in wholeness that contains all the possibilities. So all this that can take someone like 20 or 30 years to understand in mindfulness, we map it out and color code it in a manual that is a generic description in diagrams of how the structure of the mind works, how we can understand how humans develop emotions by comparing what they think with what it is, and how to create freedom by creating entertainment that describes those facts. Facts like water unified, because we are all stepping in a stone that is inside the atmosphere that has water in the air, so there's water everywhere. But because we've been taught constructs that we project in our mental screens, we allow ourselves to believe in rivers, oceans, seas, rain, clouds, all out of water. So for creating tools and devices that can be enterprises, that can be an entire industry for people to remember how to perceive unification and how to keep your inner peace. You don't need 30 years of 30 years of research. You just need to understand how you think out of the head, and that basically takes out the consciousness from within your skin to the outside application of thinking. And basically understanding that, you understand that you create all the conflicts that you live in your life. There were the not identification of the gears of thinking, and you comparing what you want or what you knew that it was better with what was happening, that it was the only thing happening in front of you, in present. So because that's a fact, we need all the creators to put the attention in normalize and interpretate the gears of thinking. So now we are creating an entire global campaign to free a survey to put peace on earth by 10 questions, really simple. And by sharing the diagrams, freeing the diagrams of the gears of thinking and how to perceive through resonance, so you become the animal you are, because you erase all the memory with the domestication that society that didn't understood the gears of thinking put on you. But you don't need 20 years of therapy. You just need to understand that whatever you think is just a hologram projected in front of you. So you can use that understanding to create any type of service to free the biggest niche you can imagine, that is 7 billion and a half or maybe 10 billion of people that they think without knowing how, where, and with what. And they all want to manifest. They all know that nature is abundance, but they don't know how to erase the beliefs that resonates absence, how to erase the beliefs that resonates abuse, by basically understanding that whatever you think, wherever you remember, is just a thought. So present is erasing everything on and on and on, because it's continuous change. That means that your avatar has applications and has ways and protocols for you to be completely happy, because your being thrives when you're happy, when you are in joy, when you are in bliss, when you know that you heal it, you making your manifestation like you are really enjoying what you're doing. Basically, if you understand that, you use frequencies as a standard, and you understand that reality is about increasing your frequency, so you will download a higher realm of reality, because wholeness contains all possibilities already. Even if we believe that this is the only one happening, we are existing in creation. But now, right now, everything is happening at the same time. So we created many things to make people remember. Basically, like this chair, that is a chair based in sacred geometry patterns that are called Metatron, that recovers order in the morphic fields that are the blueprint that creates matter within you. We created a carpet with the 12 themes that controls your life, so you can step on it, and by the creating and basically understanding that you're creating the game by resonance, you celebrate that you are in perfect resonance with unconditional love, with unconditional wisdom, with unconditional balance in the cycles of life. And you, before you're going out, or even when you wake up, you use the carpet to basically remember that you are creating the game you're living in. We have a balance toy with a bubble for you to get completely in present, that has a tube for you to exhale, that allows you to be completely present back. We have 3 movies script for an indigenous kid to make a revolution, an evolutionary movement through kindergartens. So she explains how to perceive through resonance, how to read the energy fields of present moment. And she explained that to a bunch of kids that spread that globally, and they take over the CEO chairs, because they can prove that representatives and CEOs in the movie are declared schizophrenic, because they project things that doesn't exist in an application they don't see. So they can be taken over by their own medical laws about a schizophrenic being someone that sees things that doesn't exist, and they act like they exist. So because the kids knows that, because the indigenous girl taught them, And they understand that they can ask the adults that are confused with fragmentation, where there is just unification, obviously. So they take over the CEO chairs. It's really fun. It's 3 movies where you remember that you are Neo, Harry Potter, and Yoda in your creature happening right now, but you forgot. But it's time to remember. There's nothing new to learn. There's a lot of things to forget because they don't describe nothing real. And to remember who you truly are and what you came here for, and why love brought you here, and why we can prove now through the unified field that if the action, thought, or intention impacts the entire vortex and comes back to you because you are immersed in it, that means that good intention and goodwill is the only smart thing to do. And on top of that, your biochemistry of your intestine in the head balance like your intestine in the guts. Both intestines, they balance because you develop a perfect biochemistry and the needed microorganism for you to be happy and increase your frequency and be in a state of bliss. So by sharing the protocols in a project that we call Love is Law, Love is Law, in Instagram and any other platforms we are launching next week, we will share examples and references to understand the illusion of fragmentation in humanity, and people to take over projects and make them with their tools and with their knowledge and with their own exploration of materials and how to increase the frequency using auric proportions and using geometric patterns that matches with what nature used to make nature perfectly beautiful and grow in spirals. So for people to evolve 50, 70, 100 years without any effort, we create examples. So we are using our creativity, our infrastructure, and our assets and our resources, our agenda to serve and speed and reconnect humans to nature, because humans has a perceptive error of fragmentation because they are confused with ideas that doesn't match with reality at all. As we said today, rivers, oceans, and seas, or even anatomy that allows you to believe that the wrist is a part of the shoulder or the knee. So all this confusion in fragmentation where there is only unification is allowing people to not focus in the relevant that right now is to heal the water within you. And because you are inside of water, because it contains all of us, because there's water in the air, as water is ether too, sea is just a huge thing, but we are so tiny and so confused, we perceive the hair fragmented. We will launch protocols and devices for people to ask the representatives to install those devices in their communities to restructure water completely and to recover fractality, purity, and erase the memory of anything that could have disorder the particle of water. And all those devices are designed and tested and proven through frequencies as a standard. So they use frequencies to recover the order in the periodic table inside water. So there's no substance mixed by confused humans that can create any toxicity. All the periodic table substances gets back in place only using frequencies. And we have found many, after years traveling, many inventors that has all the solutions to recover nature order. So we start talking about these, and the 3 pieces are inner peace, that you find it out when you understand that whatever idea you have, you don't need to lose your peace because of describing the idea. You just need to be completely aware of your own presence and understanding that memory is triggering you that presence that is the only state that allows loves to be in service of present and allows peace to exist in present. So when you understand how the gears of thinking creates all the conflicts on earth, you can create social peace, and that will create environmental restoration. Why? Because humans will reconnect with the fact that we are immersed in nature. Nature made us. There is no me and nature. There is just nature. That is basically a reflection in ether of particles crystallized in sacred geometry patterns. So we use all that to create things like this that are jumpsuits made by hemp that has geometric patterns inside in the lining and outside that it doesn't have any type of lycra or petrol for not creating microplastics when you wash it. And is made by hemp fabric that avoids any microwave to lower your frequency. Hemp fabric increase your frequency because of the structure of the chaotic of the particles. And by using the right materials and the right patterns and the right proportions, you can create an amazing healer device that can be whatever you imagine. Can be a toothbrush, can be a carpet, can be a jumpsuit, can be a pendant, can be an earrings, to help this person to remember that it's creating its present through the level of presence. And nowadays, entrepreneurs and inventors, and more than ever, the youth and the indigenous, we need to raise our voice and tell the truth. Because as nature happening, there is no holding the space for confusion anymore, because there's no time for that. It's time for love to be acknowledged as the ultimate force and good intention as the only thing smart to do, because we are all together in this. There is no way that happiness can exist if the entire human family or the rest of the animal family that we are, part of the animal family immersed in creation or nature, we have to be all consciousness thriving through spirals closer to golden ratio. That means that all creatures that are consciousness happening, they deserve love, they deserve freedom and thriving. So happiness, global happiness, is the only succeed. For people, this can look really disruptive, but it's because of the level of confusion globally. If I say that water is unified, a 5 or 6 years old kid can understand it. They can understand that if you breathe water, there's water inside, water underneath the floor, water creating the atmosphere that covers you from sun storms. Then there is just water, and we are all inside of it. So priority is to recover water sanity. First of all, stopping chemicals inside of you and any type of stream of water that is everywhere. And second, installing the frequencies that can restructure fractality and purity. Because all that is invented, and we create already the examples, we will launch everything in different platforms next week. And we invite everyone to get involved with us. Get involved with us, please. Support us with your skills, with your agenda, with your gatherers, with your network, with your graphic designers, with whatever, because we are working for you. Even if you don't know us, we are being really with panda eyes, working for putting peace on earth, because we feel that there's gonna be a big wave of rage and anger and frustration coming when people remember and the others one realize how manipulated as human beings we've been to develop really low frequency vibration by thinking negative or being on fear or any judgment or blame or all those low frequency that if you see as a rainbow, they are all below yellow. We really need to recover the understanding of frequency as a standard and you as a radiator. So then you can resonate only blue and violet and magenta, and everything will basically be completely different because those dimensions already exist. And now we have the house to remember how to create them together as we are. Until everyone is not happy, happiness is mediocre. And we now can choose how mediocre we are because we understand that nature is making everything perfect. That means that following nature patterns and proportions, we can basically recover order and accept that we've been blind for thousands of years because we didn't knew how the gears of thinking work. And the ones knew in it, they use it in inconvenience because they perceive themselves fragmented. So all those ones that are gonna be seen as manipulators, traffickers, corrupt people, evil people, unconscious, stupid, greedy, all those people, all those humans are perceiving themselves a part of the rest because of a perceptive error of separation that we map out. We can show that in scripts, in choreographies, in poetry, in songs, in any expression like infographic. We have 6 virtual reality movies to be finished with all the scenarios made in 3D for having transcendental experiences, all together in 35 minutes can identify the gears of thinking, then change the paradigm completely because you change the screen's content. You understand vortex, through vortex math, you understand love as the only law. Then you see different structures within the body that allows you to perceive the expansion and contraction and become skilled in resonance perception. That is your GPS. You don't need a GPS. You can wander in the middle of the forest, pitch black, dark night. Where is my home, or where is water? And by scanning like this, 360, your body will expand when you found truth. You can choose what is relevant for your body to increase your frequency, because whatever you choose from a menu is immersed in the unified field by word wavelengths. So your body will resonate with something specific. And that's just a skill that makes you the superhuman you are, to be completely in order with what happens for real. And that avoids all the technological gadgets that we think we need to not get lost or being safe. Presence is the state of safe because allows you to perceive change happening. And resonance perception is the way to follow what increases your vibration. So we need to normalize this as we normalize to wash your hands 2 minutes or spray it with alcohol that dries you and intoxicates you, or to use masks that maybe you use too long and you breathe particles of material that will stay in your lungs for years and years if you don't do nothing about it. So because we normalize things that are completely harmful, like rivers and oceans that allows people to put a factory in one place and make a reserve in another place and make fracking in another part of water and go and buy a house in a lake because it's cool. We need to act with facts and be the ones implementing realistic perception that allows unification to be perceived. Because it's a fact that all humans are a step in a sphere, and sphere has no lines, no start and no finish. Therefore, if confused humans invent countries that allows one countries to fight with other countries, and on top of that, country comes from the word contrary, that illusion of fragmentation was the source of all the wars that you can list forever in the books that they taught you to normalize violence as something that can exist forever. But we can stop it, really simple. All the creators I'm working with, I'm enjoying creating for you guys, all those creators we create a survey for putting peace on earth with just 10 questions. I'm gonna tell you the first 3. If world peace depends on you, would you say yes or no to world peace? Of course, yes. Will you ask your representatives that represents you to implement the 10% of the military budget in peace culture protocols and devices in your community? Of course, yes. Next question. Will you ask your representatives, give me 5 names of anyone that you think you have a possibility to change life on earth, to ask the first 2 questions? And you will leave me a list. And no one will say no to that questionnaire because the 10 answers are yes. And that means that you take over the fact that by understanding how we create conflict, we can implement peace on earth and use all the assets that we have to reveal what is being confusing humanity, letting people harm themselves, consuming things that decrease your energy because you don't perceive through resonance, so you consume things that harms you by being unconscious of it because you don't feel yourself, and not identifying resonance perception allow you to be in the screens of thinking, so you allow yourself to harm others and to be in conflict and create national conflicts because you believe in nations when you live in a sphere that is in the space spinning, and there's no west wall and east wall because there's just a sphere and east west all the time if you walk on earth. So thank you everyone. So we are here as creators to create freedom, because without freedom that is based in presence, you can't be happy. And as you thrive in happiness, someone has to explain you, because you grew up, you've been trained and domesticated by a society that didn't knew how the organism that is not only the body, the organism you are, with all the things happening, changing every second of existence, how these work. And as perfect as it is that heals itself when it's needed, if you harm it, it closes itself. If you don't intoxicate yourself, you are always happy and healthy. That means that the avatar or the toy or the human body you are inhabiting, it has an application for you to download the perfect game. So you can understand the matrix or the Maya or wholeness or consciousness, as maybe the ancient Greeks did, that they understood and had one only word to describe what we describe fragmented in three now. They call synadesis the three things now for us: consciousness, thought, and imagination. For them, those three things were the same thing. And I don't know if they map out and color coded the gears of thinking, but we did. So now it's time for creators to normalize. So we are creating an art call to action to gather gatherers that can find 90 poetry, 90 infographics, 90 posters, 90 choreographies, 90. So by one gatherer that can list 1,000 pieces of peace culture, that means that that community will free the understanding to maintain inner peace, social peace, and environmental peace, using their own people, inviting and making a call to action to each of their citizens to become an interpreter and a translator and a playful joker with the fact that entire humanity is using an application for proceeding that is for time traveling. So we even created these devices that we can use in virtual reality. So now we are basically putting all the campaign together to showcase all the possibilities and call the ones awakened enough to understand that serving nature, being nature, is the only thing smart to do. And as more you love nature and as more you love existence, more it grows in front of you and more you find the ones that are loving nature, loving existence too. And you don't allow any tech person that is completely disconnected from nature to tell you that a device or an external tool is going to help the creature you are, because you are so perfect as you are. Even how much we have asleep, it doesn't matter. You survived until now. That means you did a really good job. Now it's time to play in another league where we put all our skills, attention, intention, assets, infrastructure, resources in creating tools to free humanity for every human on earth, every human, no one left behind, to be happy, in bliss, joyful, kind, grateful, everyone, and not only human animals, all the creatures that you explore are consciousness happening. That means that if consciousness grows with good intention, when something or someone suffers, that is shrinking energy. That means that what else to do to serve entire humanity to evolve and explode in spirals closer to our proportion. How? Basically using unions, entire unions, to check one example that can avoid 50 or 100 years of exploration in trophic chain balance, biochemistry, probiotics, and breath work, sacred geometry, auric proportions, devices based in frequencies as standard, mindfulness, conflict dissolving, peace culture. What else to do? So please let me know. I'm gonna write my name here. This is my LinkedIn. If someone wants to get involved with us, we are open arms, open heart, working with amazing people that are all in blue and violet and magenta frequency, and basically sharing all the tricks fearless, because we know that if you make life thrive, you basically thrive inside because you are it. So you don't need 20 years seated in front of a tree. You don't need to have medicine plants or any type of substance, can be chemical, to understand that you are consciousness happening, and we are here loving you our best. So let us know how to love you better and how to serve you better, for everyone to play in the league of joy. That is the next paradigm, because nowadays we are suffering the confusion in the Cartesian paradigm that allows themselves to think in time and distance. So they perceive things fragmented in frames through thought, and so distance can happen in the unified field for the confused Cartesians. And from Cartesian, we need to pass to the unified paradigm, where things are perceived united in the field that we are all immersed, and things are an implosive, explosive movement of ether crystallized. And from the unified paradigm, we have to go to the holographic paradigm, where we remember that we are creating this virtual reality experience, that we are having the illusion that is touchable because you are an avatar in a video game. And you remember that you are creating all that illusion that is vibration reflecting you. So you play in another league. And after the holographic paradigm, there is the joy paradigm, that you remember that you are here playing in a game. So you allow yourself to enjoy. And your joy increase when you support life around you, no matter the creature it is. That creature is consciousness happening. So allow yourself to love the creature, and be gentle with it and kind with it, and use your knowledge about how nature and energy thrives through good intention, and create any support for the rest of humans that you are keep reflecting still asleep, to wake up and play with you, because it's going to be much funnier and really fast. Because when you understand that the unified field has everything already, you don't believe in timelines and milestones. You explore how to resonate that. So thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate your presence and your interest. I hope you explore within you how every time you lose your peace, it was because you were comparing an idea with something happening in front of you, that it was completely connected to everything happening that you like. So all the flowers, the trees, and everything was thriving in that moment too. So there was a confusion of separation, what caused that conflict. And love yourself a lot, hug yourself, forgive if you believe in guilt that it makes no sense, and because it's based in duality. And from now, remember that every time you lose your peace, you can wonder what I'm watching that is not happening. And when you discover all the tricks, then you will be free completely, and share with the rest how to be free and use their creativity in life thriving, fearless, because you are just love happening, and you can give it away because it comes back. This is the only thing happening. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. I will let Jonathan to take over the screen, and please write me if you feel to. I will post here the link of the web of the Master of Gifted Kids in Europe. He showcased my work in video and diagrams for you to identify the confused mind patterns and the holistic intelligent mind patterns. So those are the diagrams and the video. You can draw yourself, and if you do it 5 times, you will never get angry and forget anymore. Thank you so much.